We need to make a distinction between what the president said and opinions by supporters about what the president said. Whatever Atty. Rivera or spokesperson Panelo says about what the president said, that's their interpretation. That's their interpretation. But we have the right to take the president's statement seriously. We have the right to take any president's statement seriously. Why? Because he is using public funds while doing it. He is corralling public attention, the national attention, when he's speaking. And so he's always put on notice that everything that he says will be taken seriously by the public. And we have the right to take him seriously because we're paying for his existence as president. And so I think the basic standard is just by listening to what the president said, do you think that's right? And I don't think we can have any reasonable doubt about whether it's wrong. I think it's very clear that it's wrong. We shouldn't excuse or find justifications for what the president said. Under normal circumstances, his entire party would have rejected him for what he said. The entire nation would have clamored for his resignation. Possibly impeachment proceedings would have proceeded because of the outrageous nature of what he said.
But PDP's Coco Pimentel has found a different way to justify what the president said.
Which means that he's siding with, another outrageous statement coming from the president. I think everybody, you should look at what the president says on a regular basis with a long-term lens. That at some point, when we start recovering our senses as a nation, people will be judged for who they sided with on these basic issues of whether or not you can joke about rape, you can narrate, on national TV an act that you committed when you were 13 years old without any remorse.
The president is held to a higher standard, the highest standard actually,
Yes.
as a public official. But at the same time, the president is also immune from suit. So, well, in the end, can the president be held liable in any way with what he said and what he did?
Well, the constitutional mechanism for making him liable is, criticism, number one, which makes him politically accountable. If his numbers go down because of criticism, then his political power is reduced. Number two, the more formal mechanism is an impeachment process. Like I said, under more reasonable environment, in an environment where the traditional checks and balances actually do work, you'd find at the very least, some calls for the impeachment of this type of a president, whether he's Duterte or someone else. A president who acts this way and who speaks this way should be called to account by the political branches of our government, namely the House and the Senate.